Hi, this is Islamic Dad here. I'm going to do a video on those instances in which the narcissist's authentic self peeks through. And when I mean the authentics, I do mean the authentic. I mean the part of them that they keep hidden the vast majority of the time. I'm not referring to those times in which they may slip up and show some, I don't know, guilt, remorse, shame. No, what I'm referring to is I know that when people talk about narcissist, that again, it's very easy for people to talk about them as the evil robots that have no feeling and they're just out to get you, blah, blah, blah. And, and I'll be honest, most of the time that is the correct model to use or system, if you will, to approach them with, because you need to cover your ass. You need to take care of yourself and make sure you're safe. And so kind of putting them in that, model of the evil robot, that works. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's 100% accurate. And I think one of the places that I know for me where, I've had to really, I don't know, do some soul searching, if you will, and just kind of like really think about things, calmly and, more detached, not being carried one way or the other with my thoughts and emotions is, as I may have mentioned with my ex-girlfriend, the covert narcissist, we were in a band and we worked really hard on our music. I mean, it was something that we really poured our souls into. I mean, not just, her skills and passions going into it and, mine on my end, but also the two of us working together to create something beautiful. And that's not something that you ever hear people talk about with narcissist. And here I lived it. It's not like hypothetical. I experienced this for 2 years, off and on. And so, I just I thought it would be interesting to kind of throw that out there and maybe have people check with themselves if there were moments where maybe a little spark of the authentic narcissist was able to peek through. And for me, my ex-girlfriend was an amazing lyricist. The way we operated with our songs, or the system we have for writing them, was that I but by nature I'm a writer, or a storyteller, as you may have noticed. And so I would it's very easy for me to just come up with some fantastical story, and I would write it out in 2-3 pages, and I would say, hey, here's the idea for the song, and she would read my short story, and on the spot she would write lyrics, in rhyme, that were beautiful, absolutely magical. And if that was not enough, usually at that point I had the kind of the chord progression of the song, typically the bass line, maybe a rudimentary idea of the lead melody, but for the most part I just kind of left that open to let it happen naturally with her. And so she would hear the the music with the intro chord, or verse, chorus, bridge, and hear that, and just be like la 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 la, and just come up with the lead melody on the spot. And then we would turn on the mic, and she would just have her sheet, and she would read the lyrics that she wrote 10 minutes ago, and sing basically sing this lead melody that she just created like 1 minute ago, and we do like a first take of the vocals for the whole song. And then we go back and forth, and she would say, oh yeah, my range, I can't hit these notes, on the high end on the range, so can we shift the key down? And I'd be like, yeah, and then I'd shift the key of the song, down, and maybe do that a couple of times till we got to a point where it was in her range to where she was able to sing comfortably. And then, if there were parts where she was like, oh, this part of the lead melody I like, but this last chord, can we do something with that? And I'd change it, or add an additional chord change, just stuff like that. It was very, I hate this word, but very synergistic, and just spontaneous. I'm not being silly when I use the word magic. I mean, it was magical. It was something where me and her would work together, and the songs would just happen. It's like they were already there, and we just had to discover them. And the best way to discover them was for us to just kind of turn off our minds and just be open to them and let them happen. And bring that back to the narcissism. I mean, just think. I mean, the narcissist, at their core, is just obsessed with control. I mean, control over their selves, their mask, their appearance, their environment, their partner, all that type of stuff. And so, for the duration that we were making music, that kind of got put to the side. I mean, because you can't force music like that. You can't force inspiration. You can't force magic. If anything, you have to pull back and just be receptive to it. And again, that's not something that you ever hear narcissists doing. And so, I'm sure that there's other instances with, people having other experiences with narcissists in their life where, for whatever reason, maybe that spark comes through. I know for me that, another place that, that I feel like that was there. And again, not always, but, most of the time, was in the bedroom. I think that when the narcissist is in an environment where they're feeling safe to be vulnerable to that extent, that, again, I don't think, the narcissist was playing a role, or doing anything performative as far as oh, I'm the boyfriend, or I'm the girlfriend, I'm gonna do this. Whereas as soon as we would leave the bedroom, that would the mask would go back on. It would be okay, now I have to play the role of the girlfriend in the relationship, and I want you to play your role and stuff like that. But while we were in bed and stuff, while we were being intimate, there was, some amount of that defensiveness being put on the dresser for a little bit. And so, and it may sound funny, but I also saw a little bit of that when, when she would cook. She that was something that brought her a lot of joy, was, cooking, say Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. Now, to be sure, there were two facets of that. One was, oh my God, I'm going to play the role of the great girlfriend who cooks Thanksgiving dinner, and she's a great cook, and everyone's thankful, and everyone's grateful, and everyone loves the food and gives her compliments, and all that type of stuff. And that was definitely there. I mean, the accolades for the food and the thanks could not come on, too much. I mean, that was irritating. My phone went off. So yeah, I mean, the cooking was another aspect where I think that she was able to like stop feeling defensive and be comfortable enough to just enjoy cooking. So, yeah, so I just want to do a video on like those parts of, the relationship where I felt like the mask, the defensiveness was kind of put away, and the authentic, self was able to shine through, if only for a brief moment. So hopefully this has been helpful.